Hello, this is S.V. Ramakrishna, working as an assistant professor in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Vignan's Foundation for Science, Technology and Research, deemed to be university. I feel proud to say that I am working in this organization since 2006. I am very much delightful and thankful to the management and administrative authorities of this university for providing this wonderful opportunity to meet all my students through this digital content medium. Now, I am welcoming you all to the first video lecture series of Python programming language. Before going to start the Python, I would like to discuss about what is the need of learning the Python programming language. Let me explain about what is the need of learning the Python programming language. Nowadays, the whole universe is driven around the machine learning applications. In all those machine learning applications, Python is the widely used programming language. So, there is a huge demand for the Python. If you learn the Python programming language, you will get the many job opportunities very quickly. Here you can see the different applications where Python is widely used. In the field of deep learning, in machine learning applications, in predictive analytics, in advanced analytics, academic scientific research, exploration and data analysis, data science and statistics. In all these research applications, Python is the widely used programming language. In addition to that, here you can see the different applications where we are using the Python programming. In the field of web and internet development, in all desktop GUI applications, in the field of scientific and numeric applications, in software development, in the field of education, in business applications, in games and 3D graphics, in network programming applications and in database access, Python is the widely used programming language. Its very interesting part, it clearly explains about the job opportunities and salaries in the Python. Here you can see that the C programming language in the bottom part and Java programming language in the top position. After the Java, Python occupied the second place. Python stood in the second place in providing the job opportunities, but it stood in the first place in offering the highest salaries rather than the Java. So, if you start to learn the Python, definitely by the end of your final year, you will get the good opportunities being a Python programmer. Before going to start the content, let me explain the course objective and the course outcomes of the Python programming language. Course objective. The objective of this course is to enable the students to understand the design automation and testing tools using scripting languages. This is the objective of the course. Coming to the course outcomes, understand the different Python programming concepts and apply them to develop the programs. Once you understand clearly about the Python programming concepts, you can able to develop the any kind of the program which could able to solve the any kind of the real world problems. Second one, analyze the usage of different data structures for practical and contemporary applications for solving a given problem. Third one, develop the functional, reliable and user friendly programs that solve a given problem. Finally, design the solutions using the concepts of the object oriented programming as Python supports both procedural oriented programming and object oriented programming, you can able to design the solutions using the object oriented programming also. Object oriented programming paradigm. Before going to start the topic, I would like to tell about the concepts I am going to discuss with you. History, introduction, features, running Python scripts, variables, identifiers, assignment, keywords, input output and indentation. History. Python starts with the ABC programming language. It was conceptualized by Guido van Rossum in the late 1980s. Here you can see the author or else the inventor who developed the Python programming language. When he was working in the CWI, he needed a programming language for his project Amobia. So, he developed the ABC programming language. ABC is a general purpose programming language and programming environment which had been developed in the CWI. Initially, he used the ABC programming language along with his team, but it could not able to handle the exceptions. Not able to handle the exception. Initially, Rossum used the ABC programming language to develop the distributed operating system, but it could not able to handle the exceptions. So, he needs the new programming language which could able to solve the exceptions also. So, he invented the new programming language, that is the Python. Why it is named as Python? Why it is named as Python? Rossum, being a big fan of British comedy series Monty Python's Flying Circus. The inventor is the big fan of British sketch comedy series called as Monty Python's Flying. That's why he named that programming language as Python. Python came into the site on 20th February 1991 with the first version 0.9.0. So, the achievement of the ABC was to influence the design of the Python. Introduction. It's a general purpose programming language, multi-programming environment, interpreted and high level programming language. Its design philosophy emphasizes the code readability. It means that by its design, Python can able to allow you to know whether you are writing the correct code or not. If you are not typing the code correctly, by its design philosophy, you will be able to know about whether it is correct or not. So, its design philosophy emphasizes the code readability. And next one, its syntax are said to be very clear and expressive. Syntax is clear. In the conventional programming languages, or else we can call it as the strongly typed programming languages, C, C++, Java, those are all called as the strongly typed programming languages. In strongly typed programming languages, syntax is very case sensitive. Suppose if you missed any parenthesis or else if you missed the colon, definitely it will not allow you to execute the program. Instead of that, it shows the syntax error. But whereas in the Python, such kinds of the errors will not be occurred. Such kinds of the problems will not be there in the Python environment. Syntax is very clear and the expressive. And coming to the next one, Python has a large comprehensive standard library. It allows us for the reuse of the codes. No need to write the much lengthy codes like C or C++. So many built-in functions are available, built-in packages are available in the Python. By making use of those packages followed by the modules, followed by the functions, we can do the coding in the Python very easily within the short time. Last, Python supports the all programming environments. We can say it as it supports multiple programming environments such as object oriented programming, procedural oriented programming, functional programming styles and imperative programming styles. Python supports all kinds of the programming environments. Once again, summarize the introduction part. Python is a general purpose, multi-paradigm, interpreted and high level programming language. By its design philosophy, user easily able to know that whether the code written by him is correct or not. And third one, syntax is very clear and expressive. Though you missed the colons or else the parentheses, your code will be executed. And fourth one, it has the large standard library. No need to write the lengthy codes like the C, C++, Java. By making use of those standard libraries, you can do the coding for the given problem. And finally, it supports the multiple programming paradigms like object oriented, procedural oriented. Next, let me explain the features. Before going to discuss in detail about the features, first I will show what are the salient features of the Python programming language. It is easy to read, learn and use. It is an interpreted language. It is an interactive language. It's portable. It is free and open source software. It has the huge library and extensive libraries. Cross compilation, embeddable, object oriented, extensible, scalable, database interface, and it supports the GUI programming language. These are all the salient features of the Python programming language. Let me explain one by one. First one, it is easy to read, learn and use. In the title itself, from the title itself, you can understand that easy to read, learn, use. Okay? Because it doesn't involve the use of the complex syntaxes. Its syntax is very clear and readable, and it is very easy language to learn and use in web development and GUI based application. Okay, you can't find the complex syntaxes in the Python. Very easy to read and write the syntax also. Okay, and it is a very easy language to learn and use in GUI based applications and the web based applications. Second one, it's an interpreted language. It means that like the C and C++, you all know that in the C language and C++ language, you have the compilers to execute your programs. But whereas here, you don't need to compile your Python program to execute it. Okay. So, variety of the interpreters are available in the Python. Interpreter itself execute the program without compiling. Okay. Those variety of the interpreters are C Python, PyPy, Stackless Python. Third one, interactive language. Third feature is the interactive language. What is an interactive language? Python is an interactive language. It means that it allows the user to write the program from the command prompt itself, that allows the user to interact with the interpreter. Okay, it means that you no need to write the code or else you no need to provide the prompting for the user. Okay, directly from the command prompt itself. Okay, so you can interact with the interpreters by your input or else by your wish, whatever you want to tell. That's why we can call it as it is an interactive language. Next feature is the portable. What do you mean by portable? Very simple to carry, and the go. Okay, Python programming has the ability to run on all kinds of the platforms like Macintosh operating system, Windows operating system and the Linux operating system. Okay, in any kind of the operating system you can install the Python and work for your problem. Next, it's free and open source. It is the free and the open source in the name itself. Okay, you no need to purchase the Python programming language for your use. It is freely available on the internet, and being a open source language, it allows you to make the changes to the code. Okay, no need to purchase, it is freely available on the internet. It's a open source software freely available on the internet. That's why it allows the user to make changes to the source code. Python is an example of Flash. What is the Flash or else? Flash stands for free or library open source software. Free library open source software. Next feature, Python has huge library or extensive libraries. Okay, in the introduction part itself, I told you that Python has a huge standard library. It means that okay, ready-made or else ready-made packages are available for the users. No need to write the code. Okay, you need to import the packages as well as the required modules also into your source code. So there itself you can use their services. Okay, it has the huge library that includes the support for code reusability. Next feature, cross compilation. You can actually use Python codes in other programming languages also by means of the several compilers. Okay, I think it's very twisting for you. If you write the Python code or else if you write the code in the Python, that can be compiled in the other programming languages also with the help of all these compilers. Okay, those are Jython, PyJS, Cython, Python, IronPython. Okay, Jython, it compiles the Python code to Java bytecode. Okay, if you write the code in the Python, Jython compiles that Python code to the Java bytecode. Next, PyJS, it compiles the Python code to the JavaScript. If you write the code in the Python, that compiles to the JavaScript. Cython, it compiles the, I hope that you are all laughing with the name Cython. Okay, definitely, it's a funny name. Okay, compiles the Python code to C and C++. If you write the code in Python, that allows you to compile it in C and C++. Python compiles the Python code to only C++. Only C++. IronPython, it is used to run the Python program on the .NET framework. Next one is the embeddable. What is an embeddable? You can embed the Python within C or C++ program to give the scripting capabilities for the user. Okay, so it means that once you write the Python code or else C or C++ programming doesn't allow the user for doing the scripting part. Okay, that's why definitely we have to move to either JavaScript or else the some other scripting part. So instead of that, if you embed the Python within your C or C++ program, that gives the scripting capabilities to the user there itself. Next feature is object oriented programming. Python supports both procedural oriented programming and object oriented programming. It supports both procedural oriented programming and the object oriented programming. What do you mean by procedural oriented programming? In procedural oriented language, the program is built around the procedures or functions. Functions are nothing but the reusable pieces of the programs. Coming to the object oriented programming, in this programming environment, program is built around the objects that combines the data and functionality into a single unit. Next one, extensible. Suppose if you want to execute any piece of the code very fast, you can do it in the Python. Okay, to write the code in the C programming language, okay, you attach that part to the Python programming, okay, Python will execute very fastly rather than the C compilers. If you want a critical piece of the code to execute very fast, that can be combined with the Python program. Next one, scalable. Python has a good support and structure for the large programs. Database interface. Python provides an interface to all commercial databases. These interfaces are pretty easy to use. Python is the GUI programming environment, so it supports both GUI applications and web-based application because Python has a good framework for the web environment also. Last one, automatic memory management. Python supports the automatic garbage collections. These are all the salient features of the Python programming language. Okay, let me repeat. What are the salient features of the Python programming? Number one, easy to read, learn and use. Second one, it's an interpreted language. Next, it is an interactive language. It is portable. It has the free open source software. Python is supporting the standard libraries. It has the cross compilation, embedded, extensible, scalable, object oriented, database interface and GUI applications, and it has the automatic memory management.